What's going on, people? Today I'll be reviewing 2018's Halloween in Blu-ray and 4K, and I got that coming up for you next. So 2018's Halloween just came out this week. I have checked it out for you guys on Blu-ray and 4K, and I have already reviewed the movie itself when it was out in theaters. So if you look down below, you can see that review right down there. And let's get straight into the video quality of this Blu-ray. I'm going to start off with the Blu-ray first, just because that's where I always start off on these combo packs. So this Blu-ray looks pretty damn good in consideration of a lot of other horror films that have come out recently. I will say that black levels do tend to be very black and very inky, and that is a very positive thing. You know, this movie is meant to replicate 70s cinema and then update it with the technology that's in it for the modern day times, but the whole filming of this just screams 70s cinema to me, and that is what this replicates expertly well. I will say that some scenes do tend to be kind of soft at times, and I do feel like that has a lot to do with just how black this movie tends to be at times. But you do get a whole lot of detail, especially in close-ups and in facial features and in environments. The mask does play a pretty pivotal role, at least at the beginning half of this movie, and you do get a whole lot of wear and tear with that mask, which is always cool. So I would give this Blu-ray I would give it an 8 out of 10. This is very much par as far as horror releases have been going recently. And getting into the 4K copy here, this was actually shot all digitally, but at a 2K digital intermediate. So this is upscaled to 4K, but as you can tell from my previous reviews, when you get down to it, that doesn't actually matter. And right off the bat, I will say that upgrades here are very slight, but noticeable at times. And I'll get right into the clarity. There is a whole lot more clarity here, and I feel like a lot of the softness that was in that Blu-ray that I saw is largely fixed. And getting into the detail work, that is interesting, just because of the fact that all of the detail that was on that Blu-ray is still here, but you get a lot more environmental detail, which is really cool. It accentuates the 70s feeling that was put into this movie from the way that the houses looked. And a lot of the detail that is put into these houses, a lot of detail as far as clothing as well, has been amped up in this 4K release. And as far as HDR goes, HDR is where it is at when it comes to this 4K disc, because what you have here is a lot of yellow hues in this movie and in a lot of Halloween movies, and that is just really accentuated in this 4K cut. A lot of the yellow lighting that is in this movie, and at sometimes it actually turns kind of orange as well. That is really accentuated here, and it does pop off the screen a lot more. And there are scenes with during the day with like green grass and outdoors. That really does pop in 4K as well. And then when you get into the black levels here, I do feel like they dip even further into black and just have that that rich, inky black levels that we all want in a horror movie. And for that, I would say that this is a standard bump up from the Blu-ray. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 also. This is the kind of step up that you guys would really like to see from your 4K releases, and they give it to you here. And getting into the audio, whether you buy this on Blu-ray or 4K, you get the DTS X mix, and it is pretty damn good, I would say. Don't expect a lot of hype work until the end of the film, though, and I'm going to say that right up front, that this movie will only give you a lot of atmosphere in your height speakers when it needs to, and really the action in this movie doesn't really call for it until the end of the movie, when they are in there in Laurie's house and Michael is upstairs and they're in the basement. That whole entire scene is amazing, and it really comes through in DTS-X. Because of those height speakers, you can hear Michael above your head. It's a cool use of the height speakers that you could hear in like A Quiet Place. I remember hearing it there as well. And as far as the rest here, this is a very wide and very expansive mix, especially with the score of the film. This is a John Carpenter score. He came back for this, and it is cool. You know, they have the electric guitar kind of version of the Halloween score, and it is replicated excellently here. And for that, I would say that this actually isn't such a front-heavy mix, that you don't really get a lot of surround work, because you definitely do. And speaker separation is really excellent, especially in that last scene. And for that, I'm going to give this another 8 out of 10. This is pretty standard as far as DTS-X mixes go. And getting into the digital copy here, this is a Movies Anywhere digital copy, which means that you can redeem the code and grab this on iTunes or on Vudu in 4K. And getting into the special features here, all of them are on the 4K disc. That is something that I really liked about this. And what you get here is a selection of some featurettes that are pretty cool and pretty informative, but they're just, very short. This is a standard length featurettes as far as featurettes go. But what you have is one that goes into the soundtrack with John Carpenter, recreating The Mask, and reinventing this story for today's setting, and what the director here wanted to do with it. And then you also get almost 15 minutes of deleted scenes. This would have been a really long movie. And yeah, so you get a decent amount here, and I just wish that they would have gone a little bit more detailed, maybe even an audio commentary track. But you know what? They are all on the 4K disc, so I'm going to give this a straight middle of the road, maybe a little more. You know what? I'll give this a 6 out of 10. And getting into my last looks at Halloween 2018. Look, this movie was not what I wanted it to be. It took paths that I didn't necessarily agree with. It kind of muddled Michael's motivation. And I know that was really set up in the second film, which is taken out of continuity here. But I would have, you know what? I saw it even a little bit in the first Halloween film, the relationship between Michael and Laurie. And yeah, I didn't really know what Michael wanted in this movie. I didn't know what he came back for, to be quite honest with you. But other than that, I did enjoy this movie. I would say that it bothered me actually less the second time around, even though I'm not going to change my score, because I just don't do that. And if you didn't see my video review for Halloween 2018 when it came out in theaters, I gave it a 6 out of 10. And when you add up all my scores for Halloween 2018 on Blu-ray and 4K, they all come out to the same score of a 28 out of 40. If you like this movie, you should definitely pick this up. It has the DTSX that does have its moments, and this video quality is not too bad either. So, hey, you know what? If you liked it more than I did, pick this one up. And if you look at my shelf right over here, next I'm going to get into Cliffhanger in 4K. If you are excited about that, because I know a lot of people liked my Rambo films in 4K that I reviewed last month. So I'm going to be getting into Cliffhanger this month. Subscribe so you know when that video comes out. It's gonna be awesome, so just prepare yourself for it. And as always, thank you for watching my videos. You guys are awesome. I don't even need to say it because you know it, and I will see all of you next time.